Okay, so today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to turn a long format type video, like something that you would use for YouTube, quickly into a shorter format, like you'd use for Reels, for TikTok, for Shorts.
Explain something.
So first up, let's just talk about setup and how you're shooting, which is very important. If you know that you're going to be shooting a video for YouTube, but then eventually you're gonna turn it around and turn it into Shorts, when you're shooting the video, you can't go too tight in on the scene. When you crop it in some more, it's going to seem really awkward, like it's gonna be really in there. Keeping that in mind, it's always nice to shoot wider or a little bit wider than you would like, and then therefore you can crop in when you're making your YouTube and then crop in some more when you're making your Shorts, and it'll all look natural. In terms of sound, you know me, I've been using the Rode Wireless Go for years now, just because it's so small, it's like really handy, and today we are in collaboration with Rode, so I am actually using the Wireless Go 2, which is nice because if you're doing interviews, you can actually use two different sets of microphone and then one receiver. So sometimes if I'm lazy, I will clip the Wireless Go right onto my shirt, dress, whatever, and you've seen that before. But usually what I'll do if I want kind of a more professional look to it, I will connect one of the lavalier mics onto the Wireless Go and then have the setup like this. Usually I shoot 1920 by 1080. Now you want to do 1080 by 1920. I'm just going to make a new sequence. So next, what I do is I scrub through the entire video and I only pick the very integral bits of what I would think people would need to see in a Shorts or in a Reel to still understand the whole video. My general rule is pretty much that I need to assume that people have zero attention span. So when I am picking clips, I need to pick the ones that are, you know, the most juicy, the most attention grabbing, but still be able to tell the story of how to make something that, you know, maybe took 2 hours to make into like 15 seconds worth of stuff. The first thing that I actually like to do is I like to unlink the audio from the video and get rid of all of the original audio from the video. And the reason is because how I turn things into Shorts, I pretty much speed up everything. And when you do that to audio, it gets kind of weird sounding anyways. At the same time, I'm either gonna be putting some text, I'm gonna have a voiceover, I'm going to be putting in additional music. So by the time you have all of those layers, like, you're not really going to hear the original audio anyways. That's really up to you. I mean, if you're an ASMR channel, that's very different, right? You might want to leave that kind of stuff in, but I think for the most part, how we're gonna do it, it's just gonna hinder everything. Next, what I do is, because we have essentially changed the canvas to up and down instead of left and right, I need to scale up all of those videos, and the amount is usually 185% to get everything in there. You'll see that when you do this at this point, why it's important to, when you're shooting, to keep it in mind to not shoot too closely, because sometimes when I do and I zoom in some more, the clip is just way too tight, it's way too close. So So the next thing that I do is to make each of the clips speed 120%. And that goes back to the same thing of how nobody has time, nobody has attention, and people just want things to be quicker. It's just a lot of the times when you're watching a long form video, it's nice to be, you're relaxing, you're listening to the music, you're watching how to make something, and so that part needs to be slower. But in this alternate universe of everything's quick, sometimes if you keep it the original speed, it will actually feel like it's dragging on. Next, what I do is I close the gaps. So because everything's at 120%, now you have little gaps in between. So you want to make sure that you are selecting the sequence first, and then you go up to sequence and close gap. Another reason to get rid of the original audio is if you still have audio underneath, when you close the gap, it does not, Premiere Pro anyways, doesn't let you close the gaps like that because you have the audio track underneath, and so you can't really press them together. By the way, let me know if you see something where you're like, Christina, you could totally quicken this process by doing this. I switched over from Final Cut to Premiere Pro a couple years ago because I was changing computers, and so just in terms of problem fixing, every time I have a problem on a Premiere Pro, I just Google it, and then I learn to just fix that one problem. And then that's pretty much how I've been editing. So next what I do is I go through each clip and I have to adjust the position of each clip. Because initially when we zoomed in at 185%, we zoom in the center. And of course, sometimes when you're shooting, the action might not be in the center. It might be a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. So we made this speed 120%. So I have to go through in real time just to see whether each of the clips is it too fast? Is it too unnaturally fast? Because even though it's in short format and everything, quick cuts, quick edits, I still want to make sure that it's comfortable to watch. Pretty much the second thing is, as I'm watching this, I need to cut the clips some more because originally we just brought over the clips from the original video, but sometimes it could just be that the clip is a little bit too long as well. So now I just have to go in with the cutting tool and then get rid of anything that is too long, or you might actually want clips that are a little bit longer or actually not as quick speed-wise. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll put text into the video. It's just because I think for especially like shorter format content, a lot of people, they don't have the sound on, and so they need to be reading stuff. And in general, I like to do that for recipe videos with the measurements, but that's up to you. You don't have to put it in. So next, what I do is usually the color grading for the video. So this is really up to you. You don't have to do it if you have a particular style, or if you usually work with like a particular preset and you want a look to your video, like the Peter McKinnon videos or something like that. You might want to put, you know, just an adjustment layer onto your video, and then you can get a particular look that way. Even if I'm not going for like a particular look, or I'm not putting on a preset or something, I will go through each of the clips, generally in the original video, just to make sure that the exposure is correct for everything. Sometimes when you zoom in on videos, it can make them darker just because you're focusing on a particular part of the video. You want to lift the shadows a little bit, just to make the video a little bit more lively. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to do for this video is add a voiceover to it. I don't always, but typically I like doing that just because it makes the short format content a lot more engaging, and usually it's a little bit more fun with a voiceover. Generally, how I like to do my voiceovers is I use a condenser microphone. I think it just has a nicer sound that way. I'm using the Rode NT1 A here, and then there are just some that actually plug straight into your computer, so like a USB microphone. So I can list those below as well. Okay, so today we're making a green pea kanguksu, and it is absolutely pretty with green color. Essentially what you want to do is cook your peas and then blend it with some toasted sesame, some salt, and some water. And that is pretty much it for your broth. Serve it over a bowl of noodles and it is absolutely, absolutely delicious.
Okay, so let's take a stab at this voiceover. So to start off with, we are just cooking some peas so that they get all nice and green, and then just mixing it with some sesame, some salt, and some water. And that is all that there is to this pea kanguksu broth. Pair it with your favorite noodles, mix it with some veggies of your choice, and yeah, top it off with some sesame, and there you go. Audio sounds pretty darn good, right?
So yeah, that's pretty much it on how I do my short format videos. If you have any questions for me, definitely let me know in the comments, and I will include a list of all of the equipment that I used in the description box. So again, thank you so much to Rode for this collaboration, and I hope you all picked up something from it. So yeah, I will. More editing to do. I will see you again next time. Bye.